This is the most ridiculous phone I've ever repaired. It's already disassembled to this extent. They even brought along a bunch of tools. This is a soldering stencil, solder wick, solder paste, and scraper. At first, I thought a fellow technician sent this in. Let's see what the fan meant by CPU missing points. Before removing the motherboard, I noticed another serious problem. The screws holding the motherboard were directly screwed into it. Normally, the screws should go through this shield plate. It's possible this screen is damaged too. Let's remove the motherboard and take a look. Some people quietly watch the video, but they secretly like, comment, share, and follow. Such people are really adorable. The CPU's RAM is already missing. It seems it's in this bag from earlier. Let's take a closer look under the microscope. The so-called missing points are these yellow spots. Fortunately, the missing points are just solder pads from the RAM. The RAM is definitely done for, but the good news is it can be replaced. However, what's even crazier is that the top left corner of the CPU seems to have been pried open. Let's clean it and take a closer look. It's clearly been pried, leaving a notch. The CPU is completely damaged. Isn't this a total disaster? Let's first clean the glue off the CPU, then we'll carefully inspect it again. There's a pretty big notch, and there are traces running through that area. This basically means it's over, but we'll still go through the process. Symbolically and tested with a power meter, the motherboard has a leakage of around 7 milliamps when powered on. Pressing the power button causes a slight fluctuation in current. This means the CPU is currently in a short circuit state. It's essentially declared dead, but out of professional ethics, we must complete the process. The combination of leakage and CPU short circuit might be due to excessive heat during soldering, blowing off the solder on other chips. Let's remove the shield cover and take another look. There are no signs of blown solder on any chips. At this point, it's clear the CPU is damaged, but it could also be caused by blown solder under the CPU. We'll remove the CPU and clean the solder pads on the motherboard while it's still warm. Let's take another careful look at the CPU. My heart sinks. Let's clean off the remaining glue from the CPU. With the CPU removed, we'll power on the motherboard and check the power meter again. The motherboard still shows around 3 milliamps of leakage, but when pressing the power button, the current can jump to over 20 milliamps. This indicates there's no issue with the bottom of the motherboard. A perfectly good phone has been ruined by improper handling. Let's continue the process. We'll resolder the damaged CPU, then reinstall it onto the motherboard. Even if it's done for, we'll at least make it look respectable. Okay, the CPU is reinstalled. Let's check the current again. Surprisingly, after reinstalling the CPU, the power-up current is now normal. Is this Qualcomm CPU really that resilient? The phone previously had 8 GB of RAM, but it's broken now. We'll replace it with a brand new 12 GB RAM module. If the phone can boot with this new RAM, that would be unbelievable. Okay, let's check the power meter again. Press the power button, and the power-up current is normal again. This is unbelievable. Let's install the motherboard into the screen for testing. The boot logo actually appeared. It entered the system interface. The touch function is also working, and the screen isn't damaged. This repair was purely a result of the fan's good luck. It had nothing to do with my skills. Let's continue by removing the motherboard again. We'll also fix the 3 milliamp leakage next to the CPU. Only these two chips are glued. If the temperature isn't high enough, the solder on these chips can blow and cause leakage. Don't ask me how I know this. We'll remove both chips. Let's test the power meter again, as expected. The leakage is gone. Okay, let's reinstall the chips. Then we'll install the camera and all the other components, power on and test all functions again. Amazingly, everything works perfectly. Once again, I'm amazed at how incredible luck can be. Let's continue and remove the motherboard once more, reinstall all the shield covers, install the camera, apply extra thermal paste to the CPU. This phone's repair process was so absurd, I don't even know what to say anymore.